Murphy's Law. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jim Crotwell. I'm your regional director. Some of you may have been here when I was here doing another kind of version of this. I think we talked about the 7 laws of the GPS last time I was here. So thank you to Jay and Sophia and everybody for asking me to come back. What we want to talk about today is a little more about your GPS business plan, but also the book Shift, the 12 tactics that are inside Shift. And really, you can't talk about that unless you involve the MREA and the models of the MREA. And then there's another book that Gary wrote called The One Thing. And then, holy cow, we can't possibly do all of that, like this says, in a 1-day workshop. But wait a minute, don't worry, you're not here all day. We're here for an overview of these things. What I want you to walk out of here with is an understanding of what the 12 tactics are, because they're going to make you money. And number 2, how important your GPS business plan is. And so I've come up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 as my way of teaching what I think are all the most important parts of all of these things. If you leave here today and you look at your GPS business plan in a new and different way, and if you involve it in your business every day and every week, and you form a group of accountability partners where you're sharing things that are happening on your GPS, and you walk out of here today and realize that the more you read and reread and study those 12 tactics in the Shift, I will have done my job. Okay, so let's dive into that. This is a workshop for sure, so I invite your participation. I'll have to ask Sophia twice for her participation. She's ready and willing on all the regional calls and everywhere else to do that sort of thing. Anything you want to say before we kick off?
You guys, let's give them a round of applause for regional director. Quite a bit of participation online as well. So that's
Zoomers?
yeah, we do. We have a lot of Zoomers.
All right.
We have more Zoomers than we do in person, actually. So
That's how it goes. It's a hybrid kind of thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is what I want you to learn today. So I started real estate in 2004 in Orange County. I was a high school teacher before that for about 12 years in Anaheim and Newport Beach. I taught history, U.S. history, world history. I coached volleyball. I coached lacrosse. I used to ask people if they know what lacrosse is. Now I assume everybody knows. But you guys, when I was a high school student and I was a student in U.S. history, I got a D. I had 2 audits in high school. I had a 1.9 GPA through the first 2 years, and I had a 3.9 the last 2 years. It was like Jekyll and Hyde. So then I go to college and I take this history class and I just fall in love with it. Like, I didn't know I was in love with this, right? And then so when I was teaching high school, I would introduce myself this way on the first day. Hi, everybody. I'm Mr. Crotwell. You can call me Mr. C. I'll be your U.S. history teacher this year. By the way, when I was a student in this class, I got a D. Good luck.
D's get degrees. D's get degrees.
So I had a lot of fun teaching high school, but after 12 years, I'm like, you know what? I don't think I can do this forever. I want to go do something where I want to build something. I want my income to be, not capped, not limited. I want to get out there. I want to work with people. So, you're following me around. I walk around a lot, right? And so I was going to go open a State Farm office. No, I'm going to be sitting in the office all day. And a friend of mine, who's multi-generational family in real estate in LA, said, "Hey, Jim, there's this company that's hiring sales reps. It's called Southland Title, and I think it'd be a good title rep." Do you guys have your favorite title reps?
Yes.
Yeah,
Lisa.
Lisa's our
Is she
favorite.
here?
Lisa favorite? No.
Oh, it's Lisa Favorite.
Lisa favorite.
I worked with Lisa Favorite in my first job. So Lisa Favorite used to be Southland Title.
Oh, you don't
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's awesome. I don't know her really well, but I know who she is. So anyways, I go in for this interview as a high school teacher with Kent Kepsel in Irvine for Southland Title. I have no idea what title insurance is. I purchased 2 homes at that point in my life. And I'm like, well, a title, that's that expensive thing on the closing report. And I always ask my agent, like, why do I have to pay this, right? And I sit down and Kent says, well, Jim, if you take this job, here's your salary. And I'm like, sweet. And then he goes, and if you perform at this level, here's your bonuses. I'm like, ooh, you had me at hello, let's go. And then, and Lisa will remember this is before RESPA kicked in like 09. Kent goes, here's your Lakers tickets. Here's your Ducks tickets. Here's your restaurant, lunch, and happy hour stipend. Like, what are you talking about? He goes, go meet realtors and take them to the Lakers game. You know, we put them on buses and go to, it's not easy if you've been in the business before. You remember those days?
I remember those days.
Lobster and like the kids, all this stuff. And then so everyone, right, so everyone who's got their license 2010 or later is like, wait a minute, where did this out? You missed out on this party called title insurance, and now the laws have changed and it's different. But you guys, what I did is I went into North Orange County with my territory. I built the second largest title business in Orange County in 4 years. Right? I had no idea what I was doing. I just put my head in. How do you get title orders? Listing agents. Right? I had to get to know, become friends with, show up with value and support the top agents in North Orange County where I wasn't going to eat. That database that I built of the right people has led to every opportunity I have had since then. So when I decided to exit title, I went into management with Century 21. Windermere hired me to be a part owner and go into Orange County. That ended horribly and everybody sued everybody. Not everything's nice and smooth, right? I went to Coldwell Banker. I went into production. This is when the market kind of slammed shut around 2011, right? First 6 months as an agent. First 6 months, nothing. Month number 1, nothing. Month number 2, nothing. I've got Red X, I'm calling expireds. I'm doing everything that I learned from these top agents that I was their title rep for. Month number 3, 4, 5, nothing. Month 6, nothing. Month 7, $1 million in volume. The next 6 months, I did over $1 million every month, and I finished the year with about $7 million in production. What if I had stopped at month 4 or 5?
Some people here hear this. I'm not looking at numbers.
What if I had stopped a month before, right? Who knows what trajectory? Like I'm telling you guys, that database led to every other opportunity. So the second year, I sell 22 homes. The third year, I sell 24 homes halfway through the year. I'm on track for 48. I get a phone call. Jim, do you want to open a Keller Williams? No, thank you. Click. Jim, we really want you to help us open a Keller Williams. Nope, not interested. Let me tell you the Windermere story. We all sued each other. Bye. Finally, they talked me into it. I launched a Keller Williams office in Whittier with 2 agents, no building, right? You know, you launched this place, right? In a year and a half, we're the #1 company in Whittier and every city that touches Whittier. Boom, on the radar screen. I go to open another one. I go down to Carlsbad. Bottom 3 in the region for years. Went in as a TL, became the OP. Right now, Carlsbad's 3 year-to-date in profit in the region. Then I go to Chino Hills. Jim, come do what you did there at Chino Hills. What do you do? I'm like, I don't know how I do it. I just love what I do, and I just work every day. Okay, come here to Chino Hills and do it. And I start doing it, and then about a year into that, our friend Marion calls and says, "Do you want to be the regional director?" No. Like, Jim, I really want you to be the regional director. No. Third call, okay, I'll do it. So now I am the OP of Carlsbad. I'm the OP of KW Big Bear. I'm the OP of KW Lake Arrowhead, which just opened. Come visit us one in the village. And I'm your regional director for here, Alta La Quinta.
Yeah, nothing else to do.
Nothing else to do. Down in Temecula, and then all the way over to Pasadena, 20 offices, and I get the honor of working with this bundle of energy. If we could just tap in, we could fuel like city blocks with the energy that's coming out of Sophia Chacon.
He'll tell you, I show up in those meetings, so you know I'm there.
You guys, I left high school teaching. I almost opened a State Farm insurance office. I went and did something I had no idea what I was doing, but I went and talked to the listing agents. and everything flows from there, right? Your database, the quality of your database, the people that you talk to on a consistent basis will determine every opportunity that unfolds for your life. You might be in the middle of your journey, at the beginning of your, I don't care where you are, but everything you do from today going forward is going to depend on the people in your world, and that's called your real estate database. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this is what that looks like. Well, before we do that, you're going to learn shift while we do this, but we're not just going to sit and talk about the shift book, but you're going to see it come in and out, okay? And then you're also going to learn your GPS business plan. This iPad touching thing, I'm stealing.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to learn about a GPS. Maybe you already know, but you're going to leave here in an hour from right now, taking this wildly serious, and you're going to make it fun. Note, you can make $1 million by just doing those 15 things. Have you guys ever seen that page that sometimes it's title reps who pass it out? It says, hey, here's the 99 ways to open an escrow, or 99 ways to sell a house. I'm like, oh, awesome, I want to know them all. Throw it away, put it in the shredder. Because what you do is you're like, oh, number 11 looks good. Oh, that's not working fast enough. Let me try number 25. No, how about 33? How about 47? And you don't stick. We're gonna 15 things you need to do every month to make as much money as you need to make. Okay, so shift and GPS. So how many of you guys have been in the business as long or longer than Sophia? How many years, Sophia?
Me, I'm 22.
22. Anybody more than 22? Anybody between 10 and 22? That's me. I think I'm 18. Okay. Then you guys are below. Everyone else is below 10. Anybody below a year? Awesome. How new? February?
June.
June. All right. You guys aren't the new people. She is. Okay. Everything you're going to learn today has nothing to do with how long you've been in the business. When I talk about becoming a market expert, learning the market in the moment, if you do the right things, someone who's had their license for 10 more years doesn't mean a thing. As long as you commit to and adopt and do the right things. So we're in a shift. Everyone thinks the world is ending, like the market's never shifted. 22 years, 18, not at all. In fact, every time this market has shifted, I've grown. If you do this right, you'll grow when it shifts. Okay, so here's my favorite quote. I would start by saying there's no such thing as a good shift or bad shift with real estate. Wait a minute, Jim, I thought the shift was bad. Everything's going to end. No one's ever going to sell a house again. Not true. It's just the normal market, and it's a cyclical one. It'll have its peaks, it'll have its flows. Sometimes there'll be an advantage for the sellers, like we've been doing for the last 4-something years. Sometimes the market will give an advantage to the buyer. And those of you who have had your license 5 or so years, you're like, what is that? I'm used to writing 18 offers to just get the counter, and then it doesn't go anywhere from there. And I got to write 10 more, right? That's what we do. That's what we did last year. There is a market where the sellers are begging you to write it off. It will emerge. But by and large, this last part is the most important one. By and large, good agents make sense of all that for the people who are looking to sell by rent. By and large, good agents, that's you guys, nobody wants to be bad or average, make sense of all that noise out there, all those reports coming from this direction, that direction, this way, that way. Your job is to make sense of that. That's why people need you. To buy, sell, rent. Newsflash, everybody rents a house, buys a house, or lives with someone who's renting or buying. Everyone is your customer. I don't know when, but everyone is your customer eventually. Okay? I didn't talk about this in the previous classes, but it just popped in my head. My first day as a title rep, they sent me into Century 21 in Anaheim Hills. And the manager of Century 21 knew I was the new title guy. He's like, well, hey, we just hired this agent who got his license last week. Why don't you go give your presentation to him? His name's Spencer. I sit down with Spencer and I do this, and Spencer and I became friends, and he was an agent. You guys, This was 17, 18 years ago. Spencer is in charge of international real estate for RE/MAX right now. You do not know everyone in your database. Maybe they're renting, maybe they're living with their parents. That's okay, you're their real estate expert, right? You don't know where they're going. Okay, that's the Spencer story. You guys, your job is to make sense of all that for people who are looking to sell, buy, and rent. Hey, Sophia, we have to get Spencer to get it. It makes them valuable for everyone and fair for everyone. So we're not going to freak out about the shift. We're just going to understand the shifts. Shifts happen every year. Isn't February different from June? If you're a veteran, yeah, always. So there's always shifts. This is just a bigger shift with what's happening with the market. Interest rates are doing what they're doing. 6 million sales last year. Depending on what you read, the market's going to correct 5, 10, 15. Yesterday, someone said 22%. We had 6 million sales last year, and the market corrects 15%. That's 5 million sales. Go get 100 of the 5 million. It's not that different than getting 100 of the 6 million. The shift doesn't mean real estate stops. Real estate doesn't stop. The discretionary people ebb and flow, but people still have to buy and sell, and they need someone to help them do it. A lot of people are going to give up. That's how you're going to grow. That's why this stuff, I welcome it. It doesn't bother me one bit. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to start with the 12 tactics in the shift. And we're not going to talk about them all equally. You're going to hear me repeat that a couple of times today. Not everything's the same. If you treat everything the same, you're doing it wrong. 12 tactics of the shift. We're going to go over 12 real quick, but then I want you to see as we go through this, how these ideas emerge and kind of connect with each other. And then I want you to go back and get the book and reread it and study it. Number 1, get real, get right. What percentage of real estate, scratch that, what percentage of life is mental? 100%, 99%, 95%, a lot. Because if this is right, family goes a little smoother. If this is right, relationship goes smoother. If this is right, friends go smoother. If this is right, business goes smoother. It's all running through this filter. If this is off, all that stuff is wonky. I'm not saying it's ever going to be perfect, right? Freaky, weird, uncontrollable stuff is going to happen. That's called life. But this is number 1. That's why it's the number 1 tactic. Get real, get right. Now, part of your personal GPS and your personal 411 are all the things you're going to do in your personal life to get your mind right. But from a business standpoint, man, real estate can be hard. It can be really lonely. And thank goodness you have a group like this and a market center like this to come into to do it together, because that's going to help your mindset. That's where it all starts. We're going to talk a lot about mindset today for that reason, because if I can get you going there, all the other stuff's a piece of cake. Okay, remargin your business. Expenses. I'm going to say it again. Not everything's the same. If you're treating everything the same, you're doing it wrong. Expenses. Let's take a medical analogy. Everything that's an expense in your business is one of 3 things. I'm going to use a medical analogy. It's either a scratch on the skin that requires a little Bactine and a Band-Aid, right? And you're going to feel it, but you don't notice it the next day and it heals and you're good. But you should do something about it. But piece of cake. Happens all the time. Those are the expenses that you don't know you're paying for. Something you turned on for $25 a month 2 years ago and it's still there. Right? Something that you imagine is going to help your business, but you can't really point to how it's doing it. And maybe $25 a month isn't a big deal, but when you find 5 or 6 of those, that's over $1,000 a year. It matters. So let's look and find what those little skin abrasions are and really consider getting rid of them. The second level is like something that cuts into the muscle. It's like, wait a minute, I feel that. I can't move my hand like the way I used to. I got to do something. Maybe I need a little cast or a sling or something needs to happen. It takes a little longer to heal, But if I ignore it, it's gonna get worse. So there are expenses that you think you can't live without. You're sending out this publication that's costing you this, and you never measured how much business is coming in. Is there a return on investment? And by return on investment, I don't mean you're spending $1 to make $2, that's not enough. You'd be spending $1 to make $5, $6, $10. So if there's money going out, and not only money, but how much time is going to that thing that's not returning. So that's that muscle wound. It's a little deeper. Let's consider in these times tightening up a little bit on that. And then the third level, it's like bone. You don't ever want to cut into the bone. That's a problem. So your board dues, you're not going to turn those off. You're not going to, you can't log into the MLS, you can't do this. My point is just look at everything happening in your business and categorize it there. Because if you think everything's the same and you need everything, you're not gonna lead with revenue, and it's gonna hurt your business. That's number 2. Number 3, do more with less. Leverage your TC for sure. All your other affiliates. Everything in real estate is either on the sales side or on the administration side. This is where you're gonna leverage stuff. Your paperwork, your TC, whatever your affiliates can do to help, right? This is where you live, right? Okay, find the motivated. I've got my own stories, true story, early on, buyer. Now, mind you, I'm living in Seal Beach, my broker's in Long Beach. I had a buyer that wanted to buy in Horse Thief Canyon, and we came out a lot. That is not close. That is not a good idea. I think they eventually bought. When I did the math, I think I made 11 cents an hour on what it took, right? Right now, interest rates are up, right? And sellers aren't motivated because they can't get what their neighbor wanted. But the good thing is people who are interacting now in real estate are motivated. It's doing you the favor. So find the motivated. You don't have time to work with the non-motivated. Get to the table, catch people in your web, price ahead of them. Okay, so get to the table and catch people in your web. Get to the table is what's it going to take to move people forward? It's kind of the same as number 9, create urgency, right? Let's just start the negotiation, right? Let's get to the table and then work it out from there. You're going to have to be creative. Catch people in your web, obviously. Internet, not just social media, but your internet presence. There's a thing called 72 Sold you should know about. Rise, part of the Rise program, internet leads, those are things you need to know about. Price ahead of the market. Your comps, if you're going back 30 days, how long ago did that go into escrow? 60, 90 days, right? So you're already downward from that. So if you're pricing on 30-day-old comps, you're already behind. When your seller finally does a price correction, you'll never catch the market. So you always have to be very aggressive on that. One thing that we talked about yesterday that's new, and I love this, is if I asked you how many of you guys run comps, you'd all raise your hand. And I said, how many of you guys share comps with your sellers? Well, yeah, that's what we do. And then how many times when you do that, does your seller say, well, oh, that's not a good comp because I lost them? Or, oh, that house isn't comp with mine because I did a new roof and they haven't done that yet. You're setting yourself up for that problem because you're using the word comparable. Sellers don't want to compare. Nothing is as good as what they have. So we're going to stop using comps. We're going to stop using the word comps and comparables. We're just going to study the data and present the data. We're going to ask our seller to make decisions on pricing based on the data. Remove the word comps because it doesn't serve you. It's working against you. Stand out from the competition. Yeah, that's the thing that came up yesterday in a mastermind. Everyone's like, that's the one thing I learned today from not doing comps. I'm using data.
That's good because they will see that, you know, and I tell them that, this is what the home prices are. I use my hands because some people don't know. So that like you think like I put a new roof, I maintained it, whatever, and when you think that that's doing this to your value, it's actually just bringing it up to market, to maintenance. fixed. So it's just really showing them that,
Yeah.
but like, I like not using the word comparables. It's like, we always say.
Because they get defensive. Oh, you're comparing my house to something, I gotta support my house. You're never gonna win that.
Yeah, so we don't use the word commission, we use fee, right? So the fees are non-negotiable, commissions are. So it's another one. I love it, you guys. You guys write it down?
So, yeah, put a jar out. Every time someone says the word comp, you gotta put a $5 bill in the jar.
For kid of
Don't
the fair.
educate if you care. No more comps. You guys are gonna make a lot of money, for people who weren't here.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So let's just say that you say, okay, I'm gonna show you, the number based on the data. But what if the seller tells you, okay, well, what is the data consist of? How did you get this data? So
Yeah, these are houses with the same number of bedrooms as you that's sold. So another way of saying the same thing is, it's important for us to understand for the buyer who's gonna buy your house, what are they looking at? How do they see it? What else are they looking at? And if the buyer's gonna go look at 5 houses in this neighborhood, how do we get them to buy yours? Right, so here's the data that would form that. Now, I'll go one step further. Once you've established with your seller, and we'll get back to this in a second. Once you've established with your seller on the listing appointment, and hey, I'm gonna present you the data. I don't control the data. I can't manipulate, the data is the data, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna have one of 3 pricing strategies. Mrs. Seller, I'm gonna tell you all 3 pricing strategies, and you're gonna tell me the one you wanna go with. So the first one is called less is more. And as you can imagine, that's pricing it low to get multiple offers. And we can go that way. The second one is called data-driven pricing, which is the price that the data tells us your home is worth today. Next week might be different, today. Data-driven pricing, option number 2. Now, Mrs. Seller, option number 3 is called full retail pricing. And it's the highest price that anybody would pay for your property in your imagination based on the data. Which strategy do you think we should use?
What you mean the last one?
Full retail pricing. And then make the seller tell you, oh, I want to do full retail pricing. Okay. And then, of course, you go on and set up what you're going to ask for future price reductions if there's no showings, if there's no offers. But tell them all 3 and let them pick the lane they want to go. All right, okay, well, let's go back to this. Create urgency. Well, I had a whole bunch of buyers, but then interest rates went up and now they don't want to buy. Okay, well, because it's more expensive. And they're afraid, well, either they can't afford it, so they got to buy something less, or they don't want to pay what they, could have paid less 6 months ago. Okay, that's fine, I understand that. How long are you gonna live in the house? Well, I don't know. Why are you moving into the house? Well, because we're pregnant with twins and we want these schools. Okay, so by the time the twins who are due in December get into elementary school, they're 5. Are you gonna move after kindergarten? No, but these are the schools we want. Okay, now you guys stop, time out. It's 2022. Let's go back in our minds 6 years, it's 2016. Can you think of a house that you wish you had bought in 2016?
Yes, all of them.
Yeah, all of them. Your buyers should be buying all of the houses now, because 6 years from now, they'll look back and go, oh, every 6-year period in the history of real estate. Now, if the buyer says to me, well, we'll probably move in 18 months, but you know what? Might not be the time for you to buy, unless you're okay getting less than you're gonna pay for it. Right? So buyers are only worried about buying because of the immediate value, but they're not buying for the immediate value. They're buying for some long-term reason, most likely, which you should know as their agent. And if you don't, that's your first job. Go deeper on their big why on that. And then it's okay. First house I bought, Huntington Beach, 7.5% interest rate. 325,000. Sold it for 1.2 about 13 years later, and got to live in it the whole time. That's okay. Now I refied out of the 7.5, but thank goodness I did that. Right, and we're not, I mean, we might get to 7.4, we're not there yet.
Like,
But it
Tana
doesn't
told me
matter.
it will be 7% next month.
It doesn't matter, as long as the duration, right, is what I'm trying to say. So create urgency, expand the options, seller carrybacks, all those lender programs, study that. Master the market of the moment. This goes back to my quote, you guys. Master the market of the moment. But by and large, good agents make sense of all that for the people. Master the market of the moment. Know your market. Be the expert in your market. This is where, if you got your license this year and someone is 12 years in and you study the market and they don't, you will show up as a better market expert.
Yeah, the playing field is even right now. It doesn't matter who has what experience. Like, there's newbies that master the market, they'll outperform the seasoned agents.
You can leapfrog in this business. Easy, easy. Okay, and then the last one. Bulletproof the transaction. How many times do you have to sell a house? 3.
3 times.
You gotta get it under contract, you gotta sell it after the appraisal, you gotta resell it after the inspection. Right? Everything right now is upfront, transparent, honest. If you're gonna take a listing, the last thing you wanna do is draw this out. You're on the market for 30 days, you finally get into escrow, it takes you 25 days into escrow to finish all the disclosures and inspections. Something comes up, it kills the deal, you're over 2 months in. Remember, the market's curving down, you gotta go back active and start over. That is not a client you will have for life. Go into an escrow that you can close with all the information you can find. Only open with people that can close. You do not want to restart in this market. You will not create friends. So here's all 12 tactics of the shift. They can send you the PowerPoint, you can get the book. It's a quick overview. But as we go for the rest of our time with mastering the market of the moment and creating urgency and getting your mind right, I want you to see how much these other things pop up as we go. This is the don't chase the market.
This
Price.
should be your listing presentation package. You guys have this image on your listing package?
Price ahead of the market.
And you do have it, right?
You're not gonna get that big of a price reduction. So if you start a little bit too high, when they come down, this also drops. You'll never catch it. This is why you wanna be somebody's second agent sometimes right now. There are so many real estate agents out there that are not talking about this stuff, that are gonna go on a listing appointment. The seller's gonna say, I want what my neighbor Bob got 16 months ago. In fact, I want a little more because I have a deck and I want you to do it for blank %. And they're gonna say, okay, and it's gonna sit on the market,
Yes.
right? And so don't be that agent. We'll talk more about that. But when that home is in your farm, try to figure out when it expires and go get it for number 2. Okay. Get real and get right. Number 1. So we're back to the first one of all 12 of those tactics. So Gary Keller wrote a book with Dave Jenks and Jay Bumson, and they interviewed 200 real estate agents, and they all made $1 million or more in real estate. 200 of these guys, and they all made $1 million. And they had 6 things in common. And it has everything to do with your mindset. It's not what their farming tactic, what their billboards say, what was their call. No. The 6 common denominators of their mindset as a millionaire agent, 200 of these people. So that is the 6 personal perspectives that we take for granted. Now, 2 things on this. Number 1, this is a recipe, not a menu. A menu is you pick what you like and you don't order the rest. A recipe is everything's got to go in if this thing's going to come out. This is a recipe, it's all 6. So if you're a part-time agent, there's a lot of people that consider themselves part-time agents, that's fine. I know a lot of people that either started that way or they're still doing something else in real estate. But if we're going to get serious about self-mastery, I want to get rid of that idea of part-time agent. You are dual career. This requires your attention, your focus. It's not gonna get all your time because you have another career and that's perfectly fine. And in many cases, that career can feed this one. But this requires you to take it serious and real in the time you're gonna give it. So you are a dual career agent and it's perfectly fine and you can be massively successful. That for me is the best way to describe self-mastery. If you're gonna do something, you do it really well. Otherwise, let's not mess with it. So that's self-mastery, common denominator among all these millionaires. Number 2 is E to P. Now you guys don't know me very well, Sophia knows me. But I could probably go on a listing appointment in an hour on a property I don't know much about. I could probably pull some stuff up on my phone on the way over. And I might get the listing, would you agree? Like I might, we'll see what happens. Right? I know how to talk to people and how to build rapport. I mean, I can wing it. There's too many people winging their real estate career. And that's the E. If you have any sort of natural talent, and you all do, you're just relying on your natural talent. You've got some level of confidence or like work ethic, and I'm just gonna go and do it. And you'll have some level of success. But if you wanna break through that ceiling, you have to go from E to P, which is entrepreneurial, which is winging it. I'm not saying entrepreneurs are bad, because they're not, I'm one of them. But you apply a purpose and a plan. You follow a model. Our model is called the MREA. Go check the MLS and see how many agents are doing between 10 and 16 transactions. And there's gonna be a ton of them stuck right there. And then you'll see these guys that are doing 56 and 75 and 82. Yeah, they've got leverage. But they didn't break through that one person can do 12, 13, 14 transactions. Everyone stopped their whole real estate career right there because they're stuck in the E and no one ever gave them a plan and a purpose.
And 74% of this market, we only have in our market 14 agents doing over 20 years.
Yeah, because they don't have a plan, because they think that that's just where they're just gonna wing it and do what shows up and they're winging it. I think they are.
And they try to convince you that they work a lot.
Well, they do work a lot.
They try to convince you, I mean, that they work on the right things a lot.
No,
They don't work on the right things.
you guys, this is a career where you can work all day, 7 days a week, all month and not make any money.
I could be busy all day, look, I'm busy. I'm busy right now.
Yeah, well, so bring that up again when we get to the last one, 80-20. Okay, so you wanna follow a purpose and a plan. That's why you need to not just read shift, but dive into the MREA and follow those models. We're gonna talk about those in a second. Limiting beliefs. I can't list the $5 million house. I could never become a full-time successful commercial agent, if that's what you want to do. I can't build a team. I'm not a mega agent. I can never be a mega agent. I can't sell 24 homes in a year. I don't want to make $500,000. I'll never make $1 million. Limiting beliefs. I know people who do everything I just listed. I guarantee you, they're just like you guys in this room. But what they've learned is, remember, this is common denominator for all 200 millionaires. I'm not saying they don't have the limiting beliefs, because everyone does, and they're never going to stop. If your best friend talked to you the way you speak to yourself inside of your head, they would not be your best friend. If your roommate spoke to you the way you speak to yourself, you would move on. I guarantee it. It happens to everyone.
If your spouse spoke like that,
You get divorced. But here's the thing, you can recognize that BS and see it coming and let it pass. It's like you're a bullfighter and here comes the charging bull. You'll never be a mega agent. You'll never be a mega agent. You can let it run you over, or you can just step aside and olay it and let it go. And there's going to be another one. It's okay. It's part of life. Just let it go. Don't let it run you over. Limiting beliefs. Get out of your own way. Do not let that bull run you over. Learning based. So Jay, your team leader, is on a call with me every Wednesday, and Sophia's on a call with me every Monday. And we're like, bro, bring agents to KW. KW is the best company. Go get them. Except in 2 cases. 2 cases. I never want an agent to come to Keller Williams who's unethical. Don't want it. I don't want it out there in the world. I don't want the reputation. Nope, can't be unethical. And the second thing, and I'm not kidding, is learning based. If someone is not learning based, I got no room for you. I can't help you. If you think you know it all, I don't care if it's 100 years or whatever you did before. If you're not learning based, this is not the place for you. Because give me the learning based people and watch what I can do with them. I don't need the others. Common denominator, 200 millionaires, they're all learning based. If I were you, I would pick that up. Accountability, hard one. Accountability, I can tell your comfortable level with accountability based on how you treat reality. Are you in touch with reality, or are you in denial? If you're in denial, you're not accountable. Failure is a part of success. So in my little story about my career, I've been fired twice. I've been in more one lawsuit. All this other bad stuff has happened. We got a whole other seminar on Jim's mistakes, right? Failure is a pathway to success. So if I stood up here and said, well, I only have achieved what I've achieved because I've managed to never fail, you'd be like, what are you talking about? Okay, so if you're going to become an accountable person, when the number you were supposed to do this week is 5 and it's really a 1, you show up and say, it's a 1. How can you guys help me hit the 5 next time? You don't show up, either you don't show up and say, oh, it's a 5 and you're BSing it, or you don't skip the meeting. Skipping the meeting is the same thing as lying and saying it's 5. It's a 1, you did a 1, you're supposed to do a 5, you did a 1. Show up, you did a 1. Everyone's human, that's fine, they'll help you now, help me do a 5. Accountability, just get in touch with reality. It's okay. 80-20. 80% of what you do is only making you 20% of your money. Now, I know I said that backwards, but I did it on purpose. Because 80% of what you did this week is making you 20%. You cannot live on that 20%, I'm guessing. 80% of what you did led to that. 20% of what you accomplished this week made you 80% of your money. We really need to figure out what that 20% is so that we can make sure we do it. Who makes to-do lists in here? I do. Everyone does. I love it. Google Calendar and my to-do list, and I use this thing called Evernote. I got this little checklist. And if I got 18 things to do today, and I do all 18, your first thought is, awesome, good day. No, I'm doing it wrong. If you get everything done, you're doing it wrong. Because that means that you don't know what's more important. You think everything's the same. What I should be doing is spending extra time on that 20%, and then I didn't get to these 5 things, push it to the next thing.
Well, it's like the urgent, not important, like Stephen Covey, like
Totally.
that one, that the have 7 habits of highly successful people, they even had to write a whole book just on that one topic. He wrote another book because we do what's urgent, not important. And it's learning how to operate in priority. So it's like, I asked like, what's the next thing I have to do right now that's going to move my business forward, but not necessarily what's urgent. The urgent can wait. It's what's important right now. So when you learn this, you will achieve massive. Like I worked 100 hours a week my first year of real estate, and I sold 17 and a half homes. Okay, so and then that working 100 hours a week. Then when I learned this and really mastered it, then I did 52 the next year. But I worked half the time. Does that make sense? Like you learn how to be more effective. So yep. It's exactly what you're saying. Very good, Jim. Very good reminder.
So look at this one. You're like, wait a minute, I'm in the wrong room. I came to Keller Williams Realty to come to a shift in real estate, business plan real estate, and the guy at the front said, you don't do real estate. It's like, wait a minute, either he's in the wrong room or I'm in the wrong room, what's going on here? By definition, the real estate is the piece of dirt that most likely has a building on it, which is part of the real estate. You didn't put it there, most likely didn't build it, you're not gonna pick it up and move it anywhere, you're not gonna do anything to it. You don't do real estate. This is how you stop wasting your time in real estate. Stop thinking you do the real estate. You do the people that live in the real estate. That's your business. That's what I mean. That's huge. You do the people that live in the real estate. Right? Maybe we can change it to Keller Williams people, right? Instead of Keller Williams Realty. This is how you make money in real estate, is you do the people in real estate. Okay, so let's look at that a little more. Uh-oh, I'm not, oh, there we go. Okay, so we did the 12, we did the 6 personal perspectives. Now we're gonna do the 4 levels that is gonna show you that you need to talk to 5 people. Here's what I mean by that. The 4 models of the MREA are summarized in your earlobe. LOBE, you'll never forget the 4 models. LOBE, lead generation, organization, budget, and economic model. These are the 4 models of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. And I told you I was gonna say this a lot. They're not all the same. Now that's the part, if I ever said it in the Keller Williams thing, somebody would throw something at me because they think it's all perfect. I'm telling you, they're not all the same. If you don't first understand the economic model, the rest don't matter. You can nail the budget model and your organizational model looks great. You're gonna hire the showing assistant and you've got your admin. But if you don't understand the economic model, nothing else will matter. So my ice cream cone is upside down because that's how I think of it, from the bottom going up. And if you look in the MREA, their ice cream cone is the other way. It's the same thing. And here's what I mean by that. The top of here, this point, is a closed escrow, a commission check. $14,000, $11,000, $19,000. And then you build a business plan and you say, I'm gonna do a minimum of 12 of those a year. Awesome, 1 a month. But you can't do a closed escrow. Closed escrow is something that happens at the end of this process. So the fact that you need to do 12 of those doesn't mean anything, because you can't do 1. In this market, to be safe, how many escrows would you want to open to make sure 1 closed? More than 1, right? Someone last month said 6. Like, someone slapped them, it's not 6. And it might not even be 2. But can we use 1.5? 4.5, feel good, right? Okay. So I don't need to close 12, I really need to open 18. But I can't open an escrow. Like, you don't come into work and be like, open up, no, you can't. An open escrow is something that happens because other stuff happens. Now let's stay on the seller side. How many listings would you need to take to make sure 1 goes into escrow in this market rate?
Oh, in a sense, I would say.
Now you can say more 2.
I would say 2.
You can say 3. Well, let's just be generous and say 1.5 again. Well, now we're at 24 listings to open 18 to close 12. Now, how do I get to a listing taken is a listing appointment? How many listing appointments do you need to go on to take a listing? more than one. If someone in here says it, oh, Jim, I get 100% of my listings.
Now, when
Someone sound like you're not going on enough listings, okay, so don't try that. But maybe two, maybe three, depending on how many you're going on, yes, so
yeah, we're coming off a market where 100% is selling, right? Like literally, like it was cash in the bank, like for sure.
you could overprice it, oh, I still got 9 offers. I underpriced it, oh, I got 19, but it's still sold.
Yeah,
Didn't
so
matter.
we're coming from the market, so that's not the market we're in anymore. So getting a listing means nothing, it's not price right.
Right, and your seller has to agree, and they have to pick one of the, so let's just, again, to be conservative, let's say 1.5, let's say you've got a listing presentation, your sellers are motivated. Well, now you need to go on 36 listing appointments to list 24. Now, if I gave you 36 listing appointments, when you were done saying thank you, you'll probably get 32 of them, 33 of them, 29 of them. But just for the sake of math, let's say you need to go on 36 to get 24, to open 18, to close 12. This is why the economic model matters. Because I don't care, I care about how many you want to close, but I need a business plan on your appointments. And what it's gonna take to get through those 4 steps, so you have the closings that you want. So now I need 36 appointments. There's 12 months, I need 3 a month. And now let's just add another one in because it sounds fun. I need 4 a month. I need 1 appointment a week. Boom, there's your job. You need an appointment every week. And this is why these are the 4 levels for you to talk to 5 people a day about real estate. That's the economic model, is that there's no way around you because you don't do real estate, you do the people. I need you to talk to 5 people a day about real estate so you can make the money you want to make. Now, it's September 27th. Let's say in the month of September, and realize there's 8 months before September, we're just looking at September, and the 20 work days in September, if you would actually talk to 5 people this month, that is 100 people. Would you have 1 or more escrows about to happen? Would you be writing contracts? Would you have taken listings that you don't have if you did that? Yes. What if you did it all year? There's 8 more months. You feel that? It's that easy. Talk to 5 people every day about real estate. I mean, you're not going to find 5 people that want to sell. That's not what I said. Talk to 5 people about real estate and be the master of the market. Be the market expert. Everything else will sort itself out. That is your job. Talk to those 5 people. And now when you have that aha moment right now on September 27th of how much activity could have happened this year, let it go and just start right now. And do it. Jay and Sophia and Bailey and everyone, they'll get you the LP Mama script. You can talk to anybody about real estate anywhere, just go do it 5 times a day. And then you guys can teach LP Mama differently. That is the economic model. Then I need you to understand the lead generation model. And then go do it. Then you'll have something to organize and something to budget. But those are the 4 models and why they're important. All right, are we good? Economic model? Here's the complicated slide. Right? And we'll send this to you if you want to see all the conversion ratios and what you need. But I just think of it as the 4 levels to talk to 5 people. And so next week when you're like, well, Jim told me to talk to 5, I wonder, no, it's the 4 levels. You gotta talk to 5. Now, the first month, this is just going to kind of be building up. Remember my first 6 months in real estate, 0 sales.
How did you survive?
The next 6 months, I'll tell you exactly. The next 6 months wasn't because what happened in those 6 months. It was all the buildup and overflow from me getting off the runway. Yeah. No, I had left. Well, it went title, Century 21, Windermere lawsuit, which I won, by the way. But I think I won like $10, and I thought they owed me $1 million, so I'm still better. And then I just went into production, and I burned through probably 45,000 to take it for that 6 months.
You're lucky you had it.
But I'm like, I didn't have much more than that. Like it was coming to the end of the runway, like the plane, here's the runway, the plane needs to take off the runway, or we're gonna go in the ocean, and then it was like, whoa. We made it. Okay.
And you're like this underwater.
Yeah. Life rafts are coming out. Okay, so now we know we're gonna talk to 5 people, so now let's talk about your database. This is the lead generation model. When you think of your database, I want you to think of 333. When you look at the MRAA book, it's this, which is you meet someone, you talk to them, you follow up, they're ready to go, they're not ready to go, you put them in your database, all that stuff. I've kind of unpacked that for you, and there's 3 threes about your database that I need you to do. The first thing is called 36 touch. Now we call this smart plans. They're the same thing. 36 touch, according to the MREA book, says that if you do this with your database, there should be a 12-to-1 ratio. Now, statistically, this shows up at that ratio when you've been doing this for 2 years. Okay? For every 12 people in your database, there should be 1 closer. Well, holy cow, I have 220 people on my database and I do a 36 touch the right way, I can do 10 deals from them? Yes. 36 touch is not 36 emails. It's not 36 text messages. Everyone has one of these, right? Did you guys know that you can punch in numbers, it rings, and you can talk to people on the other end of this? It doesn't just text, it calls. Email, text, phone call, note card, in person. You got to figure out what your blend of 36 is. 36 touch in a year, that means everyone in your database needs to be contacted by you 3 times a month. That might seem like a lot, that's why you're gonna mix it up. Never miss a birthday, never miss an anniversary, there's your cards. Mix in a text that follows up on the email. Call them and invite them to an event. Don't do all 36 in 1 month, spread it out. Now, here's the hard part, good.
A good way to remember this, easy way for me, it was like, I was like, this is confusing to me at first, and then I thought, okay, 12 calls, 12 text messages, 12 emails, like that's 36. Like, you can simplify this, as long as you touch it, like you can make it simpler.
Totally. Well, I'm gonna make it even more simple for you, but look at that last thing, social media is gravy. Now, Thanksgiving, all that food is awesome, and if you don't put gravy on it, it's okay. Well, man, we put gravy on there, it's awesome. Okay, but if I brought you a plate of gravy with nothing else, that would be gross. Do not just do social media, that is a plate of gross gravy. Do the meat, do the potatoes, do the stuffing, and then put the gravy on. There are people that interact with you, they answer your phone call, they answer your email, or whatever, they see your open house sign and they come talk to you because of what we did on social media. It is good gravy, it is really important, but it cannot just do that. Now, here's how I'm gonna make 36 touch easy for you. We now call these smart plans, and they're shareable nationwide. So you can go into Command and find the agent in Dallas, Texas, who's been in the business for 2 years, who just sold 55 homes, and you can see their smart plan. You can look at the 10-year veteran in Chicago whose team sells 400 homes and see their smart plan. Now, if you don't want to make your smart plan visible to the country, then you just say not visible. But there's hundreds of wildly successful KW agents that say, here's my smart plan, go for it. That's the kind of company we are. We collaborate and share like that. So for your database, you need to do a 36 touch. Go find the smart plan and follow it and do it. Make sure it's a mix. Where do you find that at? Inside Command, smart plans, ask. Yeah.
His assistant is badass at it, she knows, Doreen knows how to do it.
He's gotta know who to tell.
Yeah, Doreen.
Find me the best smart plan. Go.
Hey Siri. Let me see.
Okay. Now I want you to picture a dartboard, a bullseye, a target. That's the circle with these different rings. That middle ring is your A list in your database. Those are the people that are going to use you for sure. So in that A list middle ring is your mom, and I don't know who else, and man, I hope it's your mom, and maybe not, right? Maybe your mom's in real estate, happens all the time. Those are your raving fans, treat them different. And here's my story about this. There's a gentleman in Texas, I met him on my first family reunion. He sells over 100 houses, he has 100 people in his database. He's worked hard, and if he meets someone, say a probate attorney, a financial planner, who he wants to add to his database, he makes himself remove someone so he never goes over 100. And all of his work hours are taking care of those 100 people, so that they give him one or more deals a year. He treats them so different and so well that for those 100 people in Dallas, Texas, this guy is their realtor for sure. And they bust their butt to make sure they send him a deal, either one of their deals or they refer one. This guy gets to work with 100 people and sell 100 homes. Some of those people send him 1 a year, some send him 5. How cool does that sound? Right? That's good. Let's go build that business. But let's drive people into our A list. And when you get to 100, you've made it, and then you can take care of your A list. But just like with your expenses, you know the bone, the muscle, and the skin. With your database, know who's in the middle and keep them there. Because that B list, outside of that, are people that have worked with you before and would probably use you again. Or people that said that they're going to work with you. Or people that know you and like you and know you in real estate. But those guys know 6, 7, 8 other realtors, I guarantee it. Right? So what can you do? This is why, see why your 36 touch is so important. Why that can't be an 18 touch or a 10 touch. It's got to be 36. So that you capture all that business from the B's. And in your C list, there are people that signed into your open house or a referral that talked to you once and wouldn't call you back after that. All these people you have some contact information for, but not all of it, right? And that's okay, but your whole trick is to talk to your 5 people a day so that you can build your C's that'll build your B's that'll drive into your A's. Okay? A fleeting thought. Okay, here's the third thing about your database. Events. These are fun, but I want you to get the most out of it. Every event is 3 events. The event, something at your church, something at your school, something with whatever sport you coach, something with anything you do in the community. It doesn't have to be real estate, you guys. The community is your content. Put up videos of the new listings, but put up videos of the community also. So whatever your events are, maybe they're a real estate event, maybe they're not. So here's the 3 events. First, you invite everybody. And I'm going to invite Sophia to my event if she's in my database. And I have no idea that she's going to attend or whatever. I'm still going to invite her because she wants to be invited. That's one of the touches, it's one of the phone calls. Who cares? Your team leader, Jay, invited, I'm going to make up a number, 100 agents to come to Megan to grow this company. I don't know how 100 are going to go, that if it is, but it's still good that she invited 100. So let's say 3 came. Well, we're at the event with the 3, we're having fun, we're engaging, right? So that's the event. And then we do the follow-up, but we don't just follow up with the 3 that went, we follow up with the other 97 who couldn't. Hey, Sophia, I know you couldn't come to this thing because you're in Hawaii with your family on vacation like you told me, how was it? But something happened here that made me think of you and I want to send it over. Can I drop it off? The follow-up is a whole other touch. So I had an event and 3 people showed up. I don't care. How many did you invite and how many did you follow up with? That's your touch with it. Okay? So that's your database. 36 touch, 3 rings, and every event is only 3 events. Got it? Look at this, you guys. We're almost done. 12 tactics of the shift, 3 things to do with your database, 4 levels to talk to 5 people, 6 personal perspectives, and now the 7 rules of your business plan. Now, these, I have seen 1,000 agents or more build a business plan. And for whatever reason, all 1,000 don't achieve their business plan. It has something to do with one of these 7. And it might be all 7 or it might be part of the 7. And here's the first one. If I offered you a billboard right out here on the freeway, it had your picture and your cell phone, and it said world's best realtor, and I said it's only $500 for the year, everyone should do it. Even if you don't have the 500, go find it, pay me, that's great. It's marketing, but it's good. Marketing's not bad. Marketing costs money, and it involves you waiting for someone to reach out to you. I'm not saying marketing's bad, but I'm saying you don't build your business plan on marketing things. Prospecting is active. It probably doesn't cost you money. Calling your database, circle prospecting your open house. All those things you do for lead generation to go talk to 5 people a day. Doesn't cost you money and you have to actively do it. So rule number 1, your business plan is prospecting based, maybe marketing enhanced. As you emerge through your real estate career, you'll spend more money on marketing, but that's okay because you've done the prospecting to build your database. Number 2 is numbers. Super simple. On your GPS, if you're going to say open houses is one of your priorities, how many, what days, what hours, everywhere you can put numbers. Because if you build a business plan without numbers, we can't measure it. And we can't be accountable if we can't measure it. If door knocking your farm, your new farm, is on your GPS business plan, when, how many days a week, how big is the farm, how many numbers everywhere you can. Okay, number 3, counterbalance. So this is a balanced life. I've got work and I've got my personal life. I've got my 2 kids and my friends and family, and then I got work. And if we're always trying to live a balanced life, I'm trying to always have these things in balance. And when I'm with you here right now, I'm thinking about where my son and I are going to dinner later. I'm thinking about him and I'm not here. That's a problem. But what if I'm with dinner with my son who's 24, I don't get to see him very much, and I'm constantly like answering Sophia's emails and text messages while I'm at dinner with him? That's a problem. I just ruined dinner. Counterbalance means be where you are, and when you're at work, be at work, and don't always be at work. And when you're at home, be at home. You can't always stay home. So just be where you are. This is from the book, The One Thing. Because you can't do your one thing unless you're just doing one thing at a time. So balanced life is a lie. Time block. You guys have heard time block a million times. Jim, I know what time block is, right? What are you going to teach me? I'm going to teach you this. First of all, single tap. The next time you go on your laptop, and you can look right now, how many tabs are open?
10.
You want to tell us how many tabs?
7.
Yeah. You're not doing 7 things right now. There's 6 or 7 things that could distract you, right? So just single tap it, right? When you're time, if you're, whatever you're doing, just do that thing. It's another extension of that. But here's the other thing, be realistic. Some of you guys are going to build GPS business plans. You're like, hey, I'm behind. I got to sell 8 houses before January 1st. I'm going to get a new farm. I'm going to go door knock my farm 4 days a week, 4 hours a day. Whoa, you're going to talk to a lot of people. It's going to be great. And you go out on the first day and you do it 4 hours out there in the afternoon. And you're sweaty and it's hard, but you finished it. And now the next day comes up and you're like, I'm not doing that Right? Because it's so ridiculous that you excuse yourself from it as you should. So instead, that's where we have 45-10, 45-10. Prospect 45, 10-minute break. Prospect 45, 10-minute break. Prospect another 45, you're done for the day. You will get more done that way. So I want you to time block in these 45-10 chunks, okay? That's time block. Next one, don't think about it. Or don't think about it twice. You guys are gonna build a business plan, I've seen it 1,000 times, and you're gonna say, I'm doing open houses 3 Saturdays a month, and on the Thursday, I'm gonna circle prospect at 2 p.m. Sounds awesome. And you got your flyer, and you know what street you're gonna go on, and it's Thursday, and you're supposed to do it at 2, and at 1:45 p.m., you're like, I wonder if I really should. Because I'm kind of behind on this, and I heard the ping, and I've got 11 emails. Yeah, let me just, I can't do it. I gotta do this instead. You will kill your business. When you made your business plan, you decided the things, the 80-20 rule, what you need to do to make money, and then 15 minutes before you redecide. There is somebody that's an agent in this market center that was going to come to this at 1:30 today. And at 1:15, they decided to do something else and they're not here. That's perfectly fine. They just didn't do what they said they were going to do because they let themselves redecide. This is like that limiting belief. You got to control that little voice that wants you to redecide. Okay, go for now. Are we Padres, Angels, Dodgers here? Oh, lots of Dodgers.
Very good.
Oh, yeah, way over there. Okay, there's always Yankee fans everywhere. Red Sox. Okay, so there's a baseball player, comes out of the dugout, holding his bat, looks over at home plate over there, and he's like, no. Come out of the dugout, and you're not going to go. And he's like, there's an 80% chance I'm going to make it out. Why would I go over there and do that? There's 80% chance I'm going to make it out. This is stupid. If you bat 200 in baseball, you've got a really good job. If you bat 300 in baseball, you're an all-star. There's one person in the history of baseball that batted 400. Now, Tony came close, 394, but Ted hit 401 of all the baseball players. One guy, 6 times made it out. Real estate agents do this all the time. You get your real estate license, you build your business plan, you come out of the dugout, and you're like, not going to play. Because you're going for yes. You guys, when you talk to 5 people a day, they're not all supposed to say yes. When you go circle prospect 100 doors for your open house, all 100 people are not supposed to say yes. But you, in your head, are looking for yes, and it messes you up. Flip it. This one thing will change your business. If nothing else, go for no. If I said, pull out your phones and call 10 people right now in your database, everyone would go, oh, I'm not doing that. But if I said, if you really could tell yourself, I want to see if I can get 10 no's, you would do it. Go, Jim, that's easy. I can get 10 no's right now. Do it. And then someone's going to have a listing appointment, and someone's going to have a buyer appointment, and someone's going to get invited to something, and someone's going to say, yeah, send me something. But only if you go for no. I'm just going to teach a class. Literally, this is the only thing I'm going to do. It's going to be a 5-minute class, right? I'm just going to say,
Do it now already.
this is all that matters. Just right here. Boop. Get real, get right. I told you mindset was the most important thing. Go for no. Talk to 5, go for no. Everything will be fine. I guarantee it. Right? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the last one. New agents. New. You are going to, at some point, come build your business plan. You've got this vision for what your real estate career looks like. You know what your personalized license plate on your Mercedes G Series is going to be when you launch your real estate career, and you've got adrenaline, and you're going to do it. And when Sophia says, hey, circle prospect 100 before your open house, boom, you do it. Adrenaline. But veteran agents, same thing. Somebody sells you something in real estate, right? A new prospecting method or whatever, and you've got adrenaline and you go do it. But on the GPS business plan, there's only 15 things we're gonna do. And then we're gonna do them again. And then we're gonna do them again. And there's not a 16th thing, we're just gonna do those 15 things. And the adrenaline will stop. And it will become monotonous. And that's not bad. But many of you will not like the monotony and go back and find something new. And many times people change real estate companies because they're not comfortable, they don't understand this. Or I'm gonna buy a new product, or I'm gonna do something different with lead source, I'm gonna spend more money to do, because I need that adrenaline back. But all of these massively successful people went through the monotony, and now they're in the success habit zone. Talking to 5 people a day is like brushing their teeth, and if they don't do it, they're like, wait a minute, I gotta do it. When you guys go to Bold, not if you go to Bold, when you go to Bold, they'll ask you to take the Bold 100, which means in a 24-hour period, you have to go talk to 100 people. It's hard. Do it. You're not gonna die. Do it. Because then talking to 5, but watch out for this monotony, because if it kicks you back, you're stuck. You just keep doing it. Because real estate's not complicated. It's who's gonna do those 15 things on your GPS over and over and over. And yeah, maybe you change them out, maybe you get an idea from someone, but who's just gonna keep doing that over? So that's it. So let's see, we did 1 and 2, the 12 tactics of shift. We did the 3 things in your database, the 4 levels to talk to 5 people, the 6 personal perspective, the 7 rules of a business plan. And I don't have a number 8, which means we are done.
Yeah.
Need some pause before we go. 3, anything. What did you pick up? Yes, sir.
I would say number 7. Me personally, that's kind of what I'm dealing with right now at the moment. You know, it's fun at first. I personally cold call, so it's like at first it was kind of fun, right? But then now while doing it, I haven't seen any results at the moment. But so I try to keep pushing and eventually I get some success.
Took me 6 months. Keep